And look who's in the door, Kathy. All right. I'm playing microphone bingo here. Hopefully, this isn't too loud. I wish there was one setting where every time you hooked a microphone up, it was just right at the volume it should be and the gain it should be. Every one of these. Hey, Ronbo's in here. Is the mic too loud? Because it's hard for me to figure out. I'm watching, the audio input, and it looks okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't too loud. So if I need to turn it down, let me know. The gain might be up a little high. What do we think? Leave it where it's at, turn it down. Audio is good. Okay, I'll leave it right where it's at. Did you like the thumbnail? I searched that one out just for you, Ron. I was actually looking for links for bowling shoes, but I couldn't find any, so I went with a flaming strike. Let's get rolling here. Broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV with me, the grumpy old man, and the guest appearance by the grumpy jackalope. And we are brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow. Thank you. You like that? The only reason I did that is because my light wouldn't turn on. I switched USB plugs. The goddamn thing wouldn't. So I took it down, and tomorrow I'm going to mess with it and see why it doesn't want to work. I hope it ain't burned out. I haven't even had the goddamn thing that long. I couldn't get it to turn on with the remote, the manual button. It wouldn't turn on. So I said, what can I do? And then I remembered hanging up over there, it was this. And I said, that would look cool if we put it around the jackalope. The reason I stopped using it is right here, it burned out. Right there. But I said, I think it would look cool if we. Well, then, of course, asshole here was like, oh. So I had to hurry up and find my flashing lights. I wanted to wrap them around his neck a little tighter than what I did, but. Well, Oops. Come on, don't give me a hard time.
But out of that, a new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us.
And now we will have the nightly lighting of the ceremonial Festivus pole. All right. Looking good. Oh. The Sucrets ain't doing shit. Tomorrow, after I get the Passat title, I'm going to do a walk-in at my ENT and tell him to take a look down this throat. I hope I ain't coming down with something. I ate a whole goddamn box of Sucrets. So he has walk-ins. So after, and I talked to the notary at the bank today. And she said with this car coming out of an estate, the safest thing is go right to the title bureau. I know he's not going to want to like that idea too much, but this way we walk in, he brings his paperwork, the girl looks at it, and if she said, okay, it's good, the title will get notarized over to me. If not, then he's got some more problems. And so do I, because I want this goddamn car somewhat legal. Yours is still too. Yeah, it's something going around. Usually, you know, I get a sore throat, and I'll get a box of Sucrets, and halfway through the box, everything is okay. Ate the whole box. It's all right when I'm sucking on a Sucret. But then 15, 20 minutes later, so after the title bureau, I'm going to run out. I already talked to my ENT's nurse. She said, yes, he takes walk-ins. You just, you got to sit and wait. All right, I'll sit and wait. I don't care. Although I think it's time to start wearing the fucking mask again. This is probably something I picked up in, one of the stores. People hacking their guts out. People don't cover their face. I hate that shit. There was a woman the other day. Luckily, she was like 3 people behind me. I felt like backhanded her. Tell her, cover your goddamn mouth. People are so ignorant. Day 3 with antibiotics and you're still... Yeah, there's something going around, Kathy. But with my resistance being really in the sewer, I don't want to take no chances. And if anybody is going to give me a dead on, evaluation, it's going to be an ENT. I could, go to the ER and the doctor take a look and go, yeah, here's some antibiotics. I would rather go to a guy, ENT, ear, nose, throat, and he knows what the throat is supposed to look like, especially considering, he was the one that took the tumor out. So he can look down there and go, or go, or go, You know, I didn't think about that. I never thought about a humidifier because the air is pretty dry in this house. Mainly because the humidifier don't work on the furnace. And the landlord said, if you want it fixed, you pay for it. I said, fuck you. Yeah, I might be swinging by the old Goodwill, although I'm not so sure on a used humidifier. You know, did the people really sanitize it? I'll have to ask my ENT. Maybe, like I did last winter. I didn't even think about it. I used to put plastic wash tub that you do your dishes in the sink. I used to put a wash tub like that full of water in front of the filter on the air intake. I haven't done that. It was amazing how much water that thing sucked out of that pan. Yeah, you know, Kathy, there's a lot of times people buy shit and they don't use it. They'll open the box, look at it, and go, oh, okay. And then they never use it. And then it gets donated. That's the only way I would buy one. If it looked like it never came out of the box. Okay, Ron. No problem, buddy. You're back in the trivia league again, huh? Okay. I came across, every now and then when I'm watching a video on YouTube, yes, I did. I thought you'd send me a picture of your kangaroo skin bowling shoes with lynx lining. Tell Kathy your new nickname. I gave Ron a nickname today. Oh. Usually it'll tell me there's a picture. I'll have to go back in and check the email after the show. Yeah, Ron's new nickname is Lynx Fur. As I started to say, while I'm watching a YouTube video, sometime I'll scan the side and see. Well, for years, there's been this conspiracy that we never landed on the moon. That it was all filmed inside a hangar at an Air Force base. So today, I'm watching this guy, Danny Jones. Guy's a hell of an interviewer. I think, matter of fact, I subscribed to him. And he had on this guy, Bart Seibel, Breal. Bart Breal, and this guy is an author, and basically he's written a couple of books on the phony moon landing. Well, debating him was Charles Duke, who was on the Apollo 16 mission, who also not only walked on the moon, drove on the moon. And it was quite interesting because this guy, Breal, he had all kinds of, it was such a top secret that one of the head of security shot and killed another security guard because he was going to go public. And I was like, oh man. And Charles Duke was saying, you're going to tell me I didn't walk on the moon? I didn't drive the moon rover around the moon? And he was like, yeah, you're lying. You're getting paid to be a liar. I was like, oh, Jesus. Yes, he was. He was the youngest astronaut to walk on the moon and drive on the moon and pick up moon rocks. This guy, Breal, he was saying, oh, them moon rocks, they're rocks they picked up out in the desert. And you know the strange thing, he was a believer. And then all of a sudden, he fell in with all these, conspiracy theories that, it was filmed in a hangar. There's pictures out there of dump trucks coming in and dumping sand and rocks, and then they sprinkled concrete mix over the top to make it look white like the moon. Like Charles Duke said, I had a camera. We were filming live from the moon. This guy Breal was like, all doctored, you're getting paid. The government will pay you till you die, Well, in this interview, Charles, you could tell, his, military training, he was being a gentleman. I know he probably wanted to get up, walk over, and smack the fuck out of that guy, but he was being a gentleman. But in the end, he said, I know I walked on the moon, and no one's paying me to tell you that. But yeah, Danny Jones is the YouTube channel. It was quite interesting. I'm going to go through and see whatever, interviews he's done. And oh yeah, Ron. Like I say, I know Duke wanted to get up and just beat the fuck out of the guy. Because the guy was starting to get nasty. He was getting a little arrogant. And like I say, Duke just said, I'm living proof that I physically walked on the moon. No one's paying me. Although, been since 1963. There's still this big conspiracy that the CIA paid Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate Kennedy. No matter what's done out there, there's always a conspiracy, you know. Although I wish I would have had time to look into it. As I was getting ready to log off, I see there was a goddamn shooting on Brown University. What is with these people? I'll tell you what, all these idiots are ruining, they're going to ruin it for people like me that have the right to concealed carry. The government's going to be taking our goddamn guns away from us. Yeah, that's another one that Big Johnson wanted to be president. Oh, man, you know. Well, I went up to the store today, and oh boy, did I get a big hug. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I didn't think she was going to let go. She was more appreciative than Olivia, and she even said to me, she said, you know, it really touches me that a total stranger is worried about my safety. I said, you know, look at the news. There's idiots out there constantly. And I said, you know, you work two jobs, and you already told me, you know, when you get off of work at night, it's dark in the parking lot. And I told her, I said, no keychain, no purse. You put this in your right pocket, and you keep your hand in your right pocket at all times. And I says, when spring comes and you're not wearing a jacket, it's got a nice clip on it. It'll clip on your pocket. I even told her, I said, practice taking it off of safety. You know, click, 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 click. I said, no, don't push the button. Oh, she was so appreciative. Although, what is with these? She had a little itty bitty stud put like right here in her nostril. I found myself staring at her nose. I didn't say anything, although it was obvious. What is it? That's like I see a lot of girls. They have these real tiny, thin rings. What? Although the ones that get me are the bull hooks. How can a girl think that looks gorgeous with a bull hook in her nose? I want to hook a chain on it and drag her around. I see more and more girls with them little rings. What's the meaning behind it? They think they look gorgeous. Like I say, you know, Annie had a stud, little tiny stone in it. I kept thinking I wanted to swat it. You got a bug on your nose. What is with this? God, that's like a girl the other day when I was at Save a Lot. She had like 47 studs in her ear. Jesus Christ. It went from her earlobe all the way up. I was like, God damn, that's got to hurt. I don't know who came up with that idea, but like I say, it looked like she had a bug on her nose. You know, or squeeze it. Oh, hang on a minute. You got a blackhead there. Ow, 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 ow. There was a girl yesterday at Mark's. She had two. She had two rings in each nostril. Them little. Eh, eh. But the ones with the bull ring, those are the ones that really get me. I don't. They think they look beautiful with a ring in their nose. Like I say, I want to hook a chain here. Come with me. Ow, 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 ow. Yes. That's almost as bad. There's a house down the street. They have five five daughters. And this summer, I would say she's got to be 17, 18 years old. She's walking her dog, and she had this little flimsy see through wife beater. That's what I'll call it. It looked like one of them wife beater t shirts, but it was real flimsy see through. And she had no bra on, and you could see from one to the other, she had a chain. What the hell is with that? And I knew where the chain ended up because the chain went. I don't understand some of this younger generation. Jesus. I would. I'm thinking the ears hurt. Oh, that had to hurt. Oh, that girl's got more nerve than I got. I got a peregrine falcon nest in my throat. I don't understand this younger generation. I really don't. I'm gonna wait for a while, then I'm gonna ask Annie, what's with this? What? She didn't have it the last time I saw her, so it's new. But I'm talking to her, and she's looking at me, and it's obvious I'm looking at the bug on her nose. Yeah, maybe the movement's coming back, Kathy. They say everything does a 360. Maybe the movement's coming back. Really? You got one of them little bugs like Andy had? Looked like a bug? That has to fucking hurt. Oh. I know what it felt like when I got my ear done. I didn't have much choice. I was out at my ex brother-in-law now. I was out at my sister's, and my brother-in-law said, "Come on, we're going to take a ride." Okay. So we go to the mall. Great Northern still has somewhat of a mall. We go in the mall, and we go in this jewelry piercing shop. It didn't say piercing shop on it. It's something, today's jewelry or something was. So the girl's like, "Can I help you?" And she says, "Yeah, he's going to get a ear stud." I turn around and I look. Who? You? No, 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 no. He said, "Well, I got one. I got your son one for his birthday." I said, "Yeah. Now you're getting one." Nah, I don't think so. And the girl's like, "We do it to girls all day long. It won't hurt." I don't want. And my brother-in-law's pushing me towards they had like a barber chair in the back. The girl walks in, "Pick a size." That's not the. It was somewhat like this. A little smaller. The first one was a little smaller. So she lines up, she takes it looked like a Sharpie, I don't know. She put a little dot on my ear. And then she'd come at me with this thing that looked like a gun. And it literally, after she did the antiseptic, shot the frickin' thing into my ear. And like, "Ow, ow, ow, ow." And she put the back on it, and she goes, "There you go." Gave me a mirror. I've since got used to it. Matter of fact, I have several different sizes, color of stones. I got a whole box full of ear jewelry. But I wouldn't have paid for it. Thank God they got divorced. The next thing was going to be a Harley Davidson tattoo. I said, "No." "Hey, Mrs. M is here." Long time no see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm talking about jewelry, studs. I was telling the crew that the little cutie that I bought the Christmas present. Well, I bought Christmas presents for several little cutie cashiers. Today I noticed she had it looked like she had a bug crawling on her nose. She had a little itty dinky little stud in her nose. I was like, the ones that get me is, like I say, the bull rings. I'm like, I'd like to walk up to a girl that's got a bull ring and say, "You think you look beautiful? I want to put a chain on it and drag you around a little bit." There is no way to make the chat font larger. So every now and then I have to kind of duck over but at least we have a chat. Took me a while to figure it out with the new software. But I like this new, I love it, I love it, I love it. OBS has got to be the greatest software out there because there's a shitload of features for free that I got to figure out. But it's so goddamn easy to use. I love it. So, Ms. M, how you been doing? Kathy and I are suffering from sandpapered throats. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a walk-in at my ENT tomorrow because the Sucrets didn't do shit. I want to make sure I ain't coming down with something. That's the last thing I frickin' need. Although it's mask time. Plain and simple, time to start wearing the mask again. Had I been wearing it sooner, I probably wouldn't have got this, whatever it is in my throat. Oh, I'll tell you what, Mrs. M, it is so easy. OBS is easier than Prism. And I thought Prism was for dummies. This stuff is amazing. I figured it out, except for the chat, which then I found the Dropbox up in the corner that said YouTube chat. I downloaded it. I experimented with it for about an hour. And amazing. This stuff is so easy to use. And unlimited. You could go, we've already gone over 2 hours. The features that you get for free. OBS is totally 100% free. And it's amazing. If this dummy can figure it out and start using it, Believe me. And like I say, I have yet to even scratch the surface on all the features that it has. You can broadcast on multiple platforms. And I mean, there was no limit. You could, YouTube, Faceplant, Twitch, Instant Graham Cracker. It's amazing. Yeah, in order for me to expand, because see, when Prism did an update and they went to Prism Plus, they wiped out the multiple platforms and well, they wanted $18 a month. I ain't paying. I did a couple of shows with one stream. They limit you to 1 hour unless you want to pay $18 a month. So TV2 come on the one night and said, download Prism, it's free. Or Prism. OBS, it's free. I looked into it, free. I downloaded it. Took me, well, I thought it was like the other software where if you were logged into YouTube, it would automatically bring up the chat. No, I discovered that. There is a drop box up in the corner. And it says, add YouTube chat. I clicked on it. There it was. I love it. Oh, some of the, yeah, I mean, one stream, if you paid in a lump, it was $15 a month. If you paid monthly, it was $18.95, and you only got 2 hours. That's it. I was like, I'm going to pay you that much money and I only get 2 hours a night? Yeah, what? And the reason that OBS is free is basically it's sponsored by YouTube, NVIDIA. I can't remember how many organizations are pouring money into OBS because this is like their test platform software. Matter of fact, in the short time I've had it, there have been 2 updates. And for free? Open source? Here I am. Not to mention the clarity in the software. Look at, you could almost reach out and touch me. Oh, don't, you're liable to hurt yourself. I love it. I can't wait to start experimenting where, I could play a video and comment on it. Or I've been thinking of bringing out the old GoPro again and doing some filming, and that way I could play the video and go, hey, here's this dumbass doing this, you know, me. Yeah, well, Ron and Kathy know I've been in a medication fight with my doctor. You know, they're promoting, and the thing that pisses me off is it's the same core, you know, the same company. They make this electronic stim unit for your spine, and or a morphine pump. And I said, no. Well, you got to pick one or the other because we're taking you off all your medication. I said, well, no. And they're not going to want to hear what I've got to say in next week. Because right now, the step down that they did in my medication combined with over the counter magnesium, I have never felt better in my life. I've been telling Ron and Kathy, it's amazing just the addition of that. It's a magnesium potassium over the counter. My pain level rarely goes above 5 anymore. Rarely. And we're in this cold weather. I would be in agony. And I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, we're taking you off the fentanyl altogether. Leave me alone. You've already reduced my fentanyl by 50%. Leave me alone. The combination you have me on right now works. I haven't felt like this in 20 years. And it was just an off the wall comment when I was telling my pain management doctor about, I was starting to get these night twinges like somebody was hitting me with a stun gun. And he said, try magnesium. I said, what? He said, just go in, whatever the label says. I tried it. Within a week, my pain level dropped drastically. I rarely go above 5. And I'll tell you what, most of the time I was cranking an 8, 8.5, 9. The only time I go above a 5 is when the patch is due to be changed. Then I might get maybe 6, 6.5. But you know, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Government said, get your patients off the fentanyl. Well, government, talk to the patient. They already knocked me down 50%. But the addition of the magnesium / potassium, perfect. Never felt better. Oh, yeah, definitely, Ron. Yeah. That's another magic item. That when you read the ingredients, there's no magic bullet oh, it's this, or oh, it's this. That Naropa is absolutely worth its weight in gold. And I'll tell you what, every time I use it, Ron, just listen, I'm thanking you. Well, like I say, Ron, I was cranking 100 micrograms per hour every 48. They've knocked me down to 50 micrograms per hour every 72 hours. And with the addition of the magnesium / potassium, I never go above a 5. Never. I haven't felt this good, like I say, in 20 years. And I know they're going to want to take me off completely, and I'm going to fight. I'll end up kicking somebody in the nuts. Tell them, here, go get your own pain relief now. Hang on, I gotta dig something out here. All right. This is the potassium magnesium. It's 210 milligram magnesium, 99 potassium. I take 2 of these every morning. My doctor said vitamin D3, $125 milligram. Then, because I had very brittle nails, I take a biotin every morning. I also take 1 low-dose St. Joseph's aspirin every morning, along with my gabapentin. And with the addition of this, I'm down to a 5 pain level, where I was 8.5 or 9 or even 10. And it was just an off the cuff. My doctor, oh, take magnesium. I have to put my pharmacy back under the counter here. I keep it in here, that way I don't forget to take anything. And I take a frickin' blood pressure pill every morning. Although my blood pressure has come down quite a bit. Matter of fact, let's see what it was this morning. I have my chart. I was 108 over 77 and pulse rate of 70. And at night I take my fucking cholesterol pill. Because the doctor said, oh, your cholesterol is up there. They're sending me to see a nutritionist. I said, I don't want to go. Oh, no. You got to go. I said, okay, I will go once. I will hear her out. And then I will say, thank you. Don't make another appointment. I won't be back. Same thing with my primary care wants me to see Dr. Tai Chi. I can't remember her name. I've been calling her Dr. Tai Chi for so long. This bullshit of exercise and thinking your pain away. Yeah. I will go see her once. I agree to hear them out. That's it. Oh, it's on the hanger in the bedroom. Go both appointments, the nutritionist and Dr. Tai Chi. And I have a shirt right here that I'm going to wear to my primary care. It says, last responder. Come on, you idiot. There. Last responder. That's what I'm going to wear to my primary care. I have worn various vulgar t-shirts to my shrink too. Yeah, I got that last responder t-shirt off of Temu. $3. $3. I said, oh, I can't pass that deal up. Oh, Mrs. M, got to take off? All right. Thanks for being here. Ron will be popping out soon, too. He's going to go play trivia. It'll just be me and Kathy. Well, I appreciate you stopping in. Don't be a stranger. Or be a stranger if you want. That's okay. Just kidding. Oh, God, I just screwed up my chair. God damn it. Hang on a minute. I got to fix my arm on my chair. I had these nice arm cushions. And they're not really made for this type of chair. but I like them. Plus, it raises my arms up 2 inches. Yeah, I got the repair part for my other chair. I just haven't put it together yet. I kind of like this. God, this chair's got to be 50 years old. Not that I don't like the gaming chair, but I'm afraid as cheap as they make that thing, it'll break again. God, I couldn't believe it when that thing broke. Oh, Kathy, you'll love this. The Passat has a tilt column, okay? So I had to readjust the seat, and I went to adjust the column today. So I flipped the lever under the dash, and I put it all the way up. And then the seat didn't latch in right away. So what do? You pull on the steering wheel, and you scoot your butt. I pulled on the steering wheel, and it went. I didn't know it was telescopic. It has a tilt, and it has a telescopic. I never knew that. I was like, holy shit. So I set the tilt at a little different angle, and I pulled the steering wheel back, and I was like, this is comfy. It didn't say in the manual. All the manual said was lever to adjust steering column. I flipped the lever down. It didn't say I thought I broke the son of a bitch. I go to scoot my ass and the steering wheel went up. I go, oh shit, I broke the steering column. God damn it. And I was like, steering wheel works okay. I was like, God damn, it does both. These goddamn manuals ain't worth shit. It did not say anything about being telescopic. It just said tilt. I could have owned that car for probably 10 years and never known that. But the seat was kind of going back and forth because the latch didn't lock. So I just held on and oh, fuck, I broke the steering column. God damn it. I was like, no. Up, down, up, down. In, out, up, down, in, out, in. I was playing with it like a little kid. So now I have it adjusted perfect. And it's even more comfortable. I was like, why did the manual not say? It had both. So then I go on the Volkswagen website, and it said all Passats after 2000 had tilt telescopic steering wheels. But the manual just said tilt. Because, you know, I'm used to like a GM where you have the tilt lever and then the telescopic was like a little latch on the steering wheel. You flip the latch, you pull the steering wheel, flip the latch. This is all one lever. But I thought I broke the son of a bitch. All right, Ron. I hope you win. Although you will. You're Mr. Trivia. Lynx fur. Yeah, when I emailed them back, Kathy, I said, hey, Lynx fur. He emails me, is that my new nickname? I said, yeah, Lynx fur. Sounds a lot better than kangaroo leather. Kind of catchy, too. Lynx fur. I have another bowling ball thumbnail for tomorrow. I found two. I was like, oh, these are for Ron. I kind of think it's cool. The flaming bowling ball explosion. Although, I'll tell you what, I knew he was going to be hurting yesterday. I knew it. Because when you're bowling, you're using muscles that you don't regularly use. And Ron used them all. I'm listening. Yeah. Yeah. Ron was trying to, like, can I rub Narop away all over my body? I knew the pain that he was in because I've experienced it. I'll never forget the first time I went horseback riding. Oh, the next morning my ass was sore. Oh my God. Because you're bouncing on that horse, bum, 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 bum. You're beating your ass, bum, 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 and you're not really realizing. The next morning, oh man, I was looking for a large bucket that I could fill with ice. Oh, did my ass hurt? Oh my God! I called my friend and I said, my ass is killing me. She says, is that the first time you've ever ridden a horse? Yeah. She started to laugh. I said, why didn't you warn me? She said, there's no way to warn you. You're trotting along. You're beating your ass against that saddle. Yeah, it's going to be sore in the morning. I was like, holy. Oh, I didn't want to sit down. I think I was, what was I, 27, 28? I'd go to work and I'd be like, oh. I even bought one of them, what are the hemorrhoid cushions, the big donut. That didn't work much. Oh my God. And what made it worse was we were out like 2.5 hours. And usually, when it's your first time, you're only supposed to go like half hour. And then the next time, like 45 minutes, and then an hour, and you kind of work your way up. No. 2.5 hours. Oh my God. I I woke up and I got out of bed. And I was a little stiff. Then I went out in the kitchen, made a cup of coffee. At that time, I was still getting a newspaper. I got the newspaper. I sat down at the kitchen table and went, oh, holy shit. Oh. I was like, what the hell? Oh, it hit me all of a sudden. I was like, I can't work like this. I took a pillow in and put it in my desk chair. That didn't help much. I was like, holy shit. I called her at lunchtime. I said, my ass is killing me. You ever rode a horse before? Well, no. You told me, oh, he's gentle, don't worry, Okay. I got up on him like I knew what I was doing. I give him the toe in the ribs to get him going. Grab the steering wheel. I was kind of enjoying it. Till the next morning. Holy fuck. Oh, she laughed her ass off. Well, you should have told me. Well, you didn't fucking ask. And then she goes, what, you got up on the horse like you had been riding before? I said, well, yeah, I watch a lot of westerns. I did just like John Wayne. 1 foot over, sit, feet in the stirrups. You told me just toe him in the ribs. He'll start going. Toe him a little more, he'll go a little faster. Toe him a little more. Oh, we were galloping through the fields. Next morning, I cussed out every horse that was ever born on earth. Man, cowboys had to have calluses on their asses like 6 inches thick. Jesus. And to think they rode cross country like the poor sap with the Pony Express. Man, he must have had an ass that was 12 inches thick of callus. That was the first and last time I ever rode a horse. A couple weeks later, she called me. I'm going out to the farm. You want to come along? No. Yeah, but you and the horse got along so well. I said, well, yeah, not my ass and the horse, though. You have a little softer saddle? No? Well, forget it. I ain't going. She goes, yeah, but the pain won't be that bad the next time. I said, no. Tell the horse I'm taking a rain check. Oh, man, that was, oh. But, she went out every weekend. She owned a horse. I was on a loaner. The horse belonged to a friend of hers and needed some exercising. But she, of course, when you're paying, stable fees and everything, yeah, you're going to make the use out of that horse. But she went out all year long. Matter of fact, the horse that she had loved to gallop in the snow. Every weekend, Hi-O Silver. Yeah, she said, well, gee, you got up on the horse like you knew what you were doing. Well, yeah, if you watch enough westerns, 1 foot, swing over. I said, you told me, tap him in the ribs. You want him to go faster, tap him a little more. Tap him a little more. You want him to stop, pull on the brakes. I was like a natural. Till the next morning. Jesus. I couldn't straighten up. I had to tell the horse I liked him, but we're parting friends. Boy, that ring light, I've really been paying attention to it. I got it just on the right setting. It looks good. The jackalope is lighting up in colors. And so is asshole over there. Red, green, blue. The show looks Christmassy. Although I got to figure out what the hell went wrong with that light. It wouldn't turn, no matter what I did. I was like, well, maybe the plug is dirty. I'll plug it in, Didn't want to turn on. Hitting the remote, hitting the button on the line. And it had power going in because the blue light was on. It did not want to turn on. I don't know. All I did last night was like normal. Took the remote, went bink, and it shut off. Today, wouldn't turn on for shit. So I was like, I need some lighting. I looked up there, I went, oh, I got that burnout ring light. I had this stupid thing 2 weeks, and it burned out right here. Right there. Of course, made in China, typical Chinese crap. So I wrapped it up and I hung it up on the wall. And I'm thinking, it really looks bare without that. So I took that light down and I said, I'll hang it around the jackalope and see what happens. I do have another one of them ring lights. But, hey, that little burned out section, it don't affect it that much. But it really irritates me that that other one isn't working because I've only had that one about a year. But shit, shit don't last like it used to. Remember the big Christmas lights that you would hang outside? The big bulbs? Those things burned forever. You take them down, you throw them in a box, you drag them out next Christmas. Took you 2 hours to untangle the shit. Bulbs clanking, banging. You plug them in, everything worked. Now you buy this LED shit. You're lucky if it works for a couple of months. somewhere, I have a box of LED lights, Christmas lights. I'll have to look for them. It would be kind of nice to ring, go all the way around. I don't think they flash. They're in a red box. Now I have to look. I remember, my parents, the bulbs actually had like a design. They looked like an, an ice cube or icicle, but the bulbs were, God, they were pretty good size. And I remember we had that set forever. A matter of fact, when my father stopped putting them up, he put them in the storage in the basement. And I remember when I bought my house, I said, "Are you ever going to use them?" He goes, "I ain't putting them up. Take them." And I used them things for years. And rarely, unless you broke one or you smacked it hard, rarely did them things burn out. God, I had, as a matter of fact, it's in a box somewhere. I have the original bubble lights. Well, I have one that my grandparents had. They had one of them three. It had two like here and then one here. And my grandmother had three bubble lights in it. Those lights are like from the 30s. I've got one. I kept it. And it still worked. As a matter of fact, I bought one of them at, well, one of them, what do you want to call it, candelabra at Goodwill. And I put my grandmother's bubble light in the top one, and then I bought two of the modern ones. And hers worked better than the new ones. And then after Christmas, I very carefully removed that and I wrapped that one up. And I've got it put away somewhere. Because I remember my aunt, her whole Christmas tree was bubble lights. And it would piss her off because as the tree would start, to sag a little bit, the bubble light would lay, and they wouldn't bubble if they weren't straight up. She'd be walking around going, "God damn it," straighten that one, and then another one would go, "Eee." She must have had 200 of them old ones, not the new ones. Because the new ones are really cheap compared to the old ones. Well, yeah, you had, craftsmanship, pride in the product. Back in the day, workers took pride in what they did. They didn't turn out crap. You know, like power tools. They were all hand assembled. There was no assembly line. You got all the parts for a drill in a box, and you put a drill together. You plugged it in. Okay, tests are right. It got boxed and shipped out. Same thing. Everything. TVs, radios. It was all handmade. As a matter of fact, when VCRs came out, Zenith was the most expensive because it was still hand assembled. Not today. Everything's robotic. God, have you watched an American assembly line? Ford has a good video. Everything comes in like a dashboard. It comes in from an outside vendor, already ready to go. All they do is, and a machine helps. It brings it in, puts it in the dash, and they go hook up a couple of connections. Back in the day, every piece on a dashboard was hand built. Same thing, car doors. They come in pre-assembled. The factory stamps the door out, and then they ship it out. An outside vendor puts the glass in, they put the track in, they put the trim panel on, they send it back. Then the door comes down and gets bolted to the vehicle. 90% is outside vendor shit. It's disgusting nowadays. That's why the guts for the door in my Passat fit 6 different cars. Audi, Volkswagen, Chrysler, I can't remember what GM car, and Kia. All the same. Because they get with an outside vendor, and the vendor said, okay, well, this is the mechanism. Then they design the inside of the door to fit that mechanism that they're buying outside. Everything, you know, look how many people don't have jobs, because years ago you would have a guy that assembled the mechanism for the crank, and then you had a guy that would put the glass in the door and mount it to the mechanism, and then another guy that would put the trim panel on and the buttons and the handles. And not today. I couldn't believe it when I looked up them plastic slides. Yeah, go to 6 different cars. Same piece. It's sad. It really is. And you know the disgusting thing? I looked for the hell of it. If I bought them plastic slides from Volkswagen. They were $15 each for that piece of plastic shit. If I bought from Audi, they were $19 each. Same shit. I got 4 for $7 from the company that makes them. I mean, I learned that years ago. If you had a Cadillac, you would say, I have a 1985 Chevy Impala, because the part was the same. But if you said you had a Cadillac, the part was more expensive. Same part. That's why I avoid buying parts from a dealer, because I got these clips from the company that makes them, 4 for $7. If I would have gone to Volkswagen parts, $15 each for the same stupid piece of plastic. Matter of fact, if I think of it, I'll bring them in and I'll show you. They're just a cheap, shitty piece of plastic. You're in traffic. You're playing trivia somewhere other than your apartment? I didn't know it was live trivia. This time of night, traffic? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, maybe Christmas shoppers. That must be what it is. He's in the evening Christmas shopper traffic. All right, Ron. Drive home safe. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Hope you win. That's all right. As long as you drive safe, buddy. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting the time. Yeah. I keep forgetting the time difference. Yeah, you're in the tail end of the rush hour traffic. Well, we'll go another 10 minutes, Kathy. It'll be 8:45, and we'll cut it a little short. And that way I can get a little quicker start on dinner. I went up and I got more of my favorite hot dogs. So tonight I'm making gourmet hot dogs. Onion, relish, cheese, chili, and a little bit of fresh horseradish. And maybe a little chili sauce. I don't really buy ketchup anymore. You know, I found this red gold chili sauce. Stuff is kick ass. I use it 90% of the time. And it's cheaper than Heinz ketchup. Matter of fact, it was on sale. 2 bottles for $5. I was like, okay, works for me. Yeah, it's called Red Gold. If you ever see it, give it a try. I used to buy Heinz chili sauce, and one day they were out. And I'm really leery about trying like a generic. So I was like, I'll try one. I was hooked. Well, if you see red gold, try it. It's dynamite. I hate to say it because Heinz makes a real good chili sauce, but this red gold, oh. When the bottle gets half, I go buy another. And today, 2 for $5. And tomorrow I will show you the mustard that I've been using. I can't remember the name of it. It is kick ass. I'll bring the bottle in. That way you know what to look for. But that red gold, I am hooked on it. I rarely use Heinz ketchup anymore. I mean, I got a bottle in the fridge. I grabbed my old red gold chili sauce. Matter of fact, a couple weeks ago I made I call it a garbage omelet. Whatever is left in the fridge, onion, some mushrooms, maybe some green pepper, I throw it all in. I made this omelet, and I put some red gold across the top of it. Oh, was it good? Matter of fact, I used it in my chili. I'd put it on pie. It's so good. And like I say, I discovered it by accident because a lot of generic stuff is just bland. But I have discovered that this Red Gold company, they make damn good products. I like their crushed tomatoes, their tomatoes for chili, their stewed tomatoes. I don't know if you have Red Gold down there because, different markets carry different stuff. But if you see it, try one. Although I would think this company would be nationwide. They're a huge company. But, some vendors give better price breaks and they're like, oh, well, we'd like to carry your product, but you're 2 cents more expensive than the other guy. So we're going to use the other guy. Because, everywhere you see Hunt's, you'll see Heinz, you know, Del Monte, Dole. But usually these smaller, and Red Gold isn't a small company, but a lot of times they can't get their foot in the door. All right, look for the chili sauce. You will say, Grumpy, you picked a winner. Is it good stuff? And they're not sponsoring me. Damn it, I wish they would. But any product, I bought a lot of different Red Gold. Anything they make is top notch. I'll have to look and see where they're out of. That's my food recommendation for tonight. Oh, I guess I'll finish my cigarette before signing off. Because it's almost 8:45 and I just lit a cigarette. So, yeah, I could smoke it off air, but I'd rather just continue. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I felt good knowing Annie was so appreciative of that little gift. And like she said, you're a total stranger and you're worried about my safety. Well, yeah, you're a 20-year-old girl working two jobs. You're getting off at, I think she said she gets off like 9:30. I don't know where her second job is. I didn't ask. But even so, even if your car's outside the door, you never know when there's some idiot lurking around. Same thing I said to her, I said, you got that little flashlight I gave you? She said, oh yeah, I carry it all the time. I said, when you approach your car, take the flashlight and shine it in the back seat. She said, well, I lock my car all the time. I said, you know how easy it is to Slim Jim a door? And I said, people don't look in their back seat. The guy could be hunkered down. You go to pull away. He grabs you around the neck. What are you going to do? And I said, when you get in the car, take that pepper spray and put it somewhere you can grab it right away. Your cup holder or somewhere. She said, gee, my father didn't even tell me all these things. I said, well, be safe. You know, like I say, there's idiots everywhere. Really? Out of Indiana? Wow. I thought they'd be out west somewhere, but hey, company can be anywhere. But I'll tell you what, they make top-notch products. Anything you see with Red Gold, you can trust. Yeah, I handed her the box. And I said, open it up. She looked at it. I said, you know what that is? She goes, no. I said, pepper spray. Really? I said, see that flip lever? I said, when you got that in your pocket, keep your thumb right on that lever. Everybody was looking. She gave me a big hug. She was a total stranger. She says, you only know me from here. I said, yeah, I know you from here. You're a very attractive, charming young lady that any idiot would just love to abduct. I said, nowadays you can't trust any. I said, you can't trust even your coworkers. You can't trust them. I said, how do you know one of the guys that works here isn't thinking, oh man, would I love to get my hands on her? I watched a goddamn interview the other night with a guy that he was dating a coworker and she wanted to break up with him. And he was like, oh, and she goes, if we don't break up, I'm going to tell management that you're a supervisor dating a subordinate. And he ended up killing her. And then takes the body, and evidently he must have had a big backyard or lived somewhere out. He tried to burn the body. And when he couldn't burn the body, because people think, oh, you know, little gasoline, yeah, ain't that easy. He loaded the body up in a tarp and dumped her in a pond. And she was a very pretty little girl. So I said, you can't trust anyone today. I said, same thing. I said, except for this store. I carry all the time. This store had big signs. Yeah, no. They have a armed security guard at the door. I said, my buddy carries. I asked him, I said, do you have one in the chamber? Well, no. I said, somebody attacks you. You're pulling that, and you're trying to rack one in the chamber. I said, you're dead. I said, that's why they have safety. I said, I always got one in the chamber. He was like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Duh. Yeah, Kathy, it is. I mean, you know, had she not threatened, she probably would still be alive. But he was afraid he was going to lose his job. Duh. He done lost his job. Because now he's doing life without parole. Where was your head? You know, there would be a good possibility they'd say, well, we're going to transfer you to another restaurant because it was some chain, I can't remember. And don't be dating anybody. Or maybe they would knock him down from head chef to assistant. Now maybe he's cooking in prison, I don't know. Yeah, he said, meet me in the back of the parking lot and I want to talk. She gets in the car, he breaks her fucking neck. You're not telling management. Scary world. I'm going to have to read that news story about the shooting on Brown University. Like, what was wrong with this idiot? You know, it don't do any good trying to analyze it. You'll never get in the person's head, you know. Oh, I snapped. You have that little self-control that you snapped and you... Not to mention, I don't know if he was a student or what. What are you doing carrying on a university? Universities have big rules. No weapons. But like I say, I just was going through and I was like, holy shit. I'll have to read that later. I mean, how many does that make this year? 5, 6 universities where they've had shootings? What is it with people? God, you know, as pissed off as I get sometime, I would never think of pulling that thing, and I kind of appreciate sitting here every night, talking with my friends, not Bubba. Sorry. No, no Bubba here. Just a big fat cat. Oh my God, Kathy, last night. Oh, Jesus, he wouldn't stop. He must have gone half an hour straight. I was like, hey, pull them nails in. I mean, it's cute, but not when the nails come out. It hurt. But every night, and like you say, he goes back and forth between the kitchen. He goes out and nibbles a little on his dry food, comes back in. Cat's amazing. He really is. I bought him more cat treats today, too. He's got to have his cat treats. We play a little game in the morning because, like I say, when I got him as a kitten, I kept him in the bedroom for a couple of weeks. And the only way I could keep him in the bedroom and close the door was give him some cat treats. Well, now, so in the morning, I'll walk around the bed, and boy, he's right there. Back and forth and back and forth and back. He's back and forth and back and forth. And I'm finally, okay, here's your treats. Then he's happy. Yeah, he probably remembers them goddamn kids that were trying to kill him. I only got about 1/4 of the story. The woman at the rescue shelter wouldn't give me much more because I think she was afraid I was going to go over there and kill some people. Because I said, well, where'd he come from? Local? She said, a local. That's all I'm going to tell you. They tortured that poor animal. But boy, I'll tell you what, for a while, he was a prick. I tried to give him back twice. I really did. I said, I can't take him. He'll come around. I said, you told me that the last time. He ain't come around yet. And finally he did. Now. Oh. What you do for your animals, you know? I get him good quality dry food. I get him the delectables because he has to have, like the vet said, he's got to have both. And one good thing, he loves to drink water. So fingers crossed I never have a problem. But boy, he loves them delectables, them little pouches. They ain't cheap either. That's all right. He's worth it. And with that, I think we're going to call it a night. Hopefully, before Christmas, I'll have a good voice. All right, everybody, thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet right here again tomorrow night. And with that, see ya. Take two. See ya.